Hello, everyone. Apologies for any sound glitches here. We're going to get that sorted out first before we get too crazy here. We're live, looks like. And I got back on the original stream broadcast, so that's even better. Mic check 1, 2. No peeking. All right. Okay, let's get started here, folks. So, we just had what I would refer to as the God candle. It doesn't look like much here on the weekly Heikkens, but if we flip to the regular, we can see a big old bold green candle that stands out very, very well. It almost looks reminiscent of the green candle down here at the previous bear market. And quite honestly, from what I'm seeing here, like this is just it's almost textbook in nature. We've almost copy pasted the previous market for that matter. We had our leg up, it rested, it did a little dippity do in 2020, which was kind of neither here nor there, and then we had the run up in the double header, and now kind of similar here, but it was more like a stepping stone game. The only thing that really made it stand out, obviously, was the more or less the double top that we got, as well as the 1, 2, kind of 3 bottom. Now, the placement of this one makes it seem suspicious, which I don't know if I mentioned that in the last stream, but just by the fact of the matter that we have a bucket that it just seemingly too close to the previous bucket. It almost feels like it's kind of overdue for something, but I mean, the technicals lined up, the exhaustion was there. We had already bled so much, and momentum can only go down. A rubber band can only be pulled in one direction for so long until it goes up. You know what I mean? And what we're looking at here now is something unlike we've seen in a very, very long time. And also, this is a defining neckline as well. You can see around when we had the first original pump out of the flag, that it kind of leveled out here. And then we see more or less a targeted value area in this that we're kind of playing with right now. So as soon as we really, like we're at the decision area for more or less. Now what happens here over the next couple months will define the whole 4-year cycle as we know it. Because there's been talks about this one being a bit too short. There's been talks about there being a super cycle, but there's also been talks about it going to zero. Of course, it hitting 30K like we mentioned back in the day, very possible, but extremely unlikely. Honestly, that red line that I've had here for so long is about as low as I go for any bearish scenario. But now, just looking purely at this God candle, we're looking at something that's a lot more bullish. All right, quick gander over here on the weekly at the big old candle. We can see the momentum has curved very sharply. The VWAP has been sitting relatively yellow and above for quite some time, so I would not be upset if this curled back down at any point in the very near future. Like like we've got some break here going on. It's obviously considered oversold still, which is hard to believe, but money flow still being red. The 4-year cycle still got some time on her. Uh, we're not exactly looking out of the woods yet here, friends, especially with the fact of the matter that we still have barely oversold in the eyes of the market technicals. Um, let's take a look at chat. Doesn't seem like too much action going on in here. Um, if you got something to say, please say it. I would love to hear your comments and suggestions. And to all new viewers, and old and new alike, you're amazing. And I thank you all for watching, whether you're watching live or otherwise. Okay. Thank you for the like, whoever that was. I very much appreciate it. So, as far as averaging goes, we can see why it would average out here, right? Like the average price would be around the 71 kind of area. which is where we could retreat in the near future after this move. But let's take a quick look at the daily, dive a bit deeper into this bucket that's formed. So again, the suspicion of not having enough bear largely lies in these knives. We have a knife here, and there's no sustenance, no regaining of the fall. And then it just kind of bleeds out, trickles lower, and then we see an upper up again, which again, if we just take a ruler tool here real quick and we go from this candle up, you can see that the move is roughly 24%, 25 almost. And again, take that same ruler tool all the way over here, just a rough estimation on candle. We're looking at about the same move. So even though this happened in a significantly shorter time frame, it was about the same power move as this one. So we got to keep our butts on a swivel and pay attention here, because this, as short of a move as it is, it could be just about as quick down as it was up. So keep that in mind. We are painting a good picture here, but it still raises questions. Now, where those questions may lie, I would figure is more or less in this 4-hour flag. Which, quite honestly, if I were to say anything, folks, like looking at this, see this green dot down here, and even though we've just come on to the next 4-hour here, you can see that we've got 2 hours and some left. Like, this is still kind of saying to me uptime, but at the same time, this could just be a slouch. Let's take a little closer look here. Yeah, the VWAP really, it's not what I'm expecting. Honestly, it's a bit short, falling a bit short of a pump off of this green dot. So realistically, not too much give on that one. But if it does flag out, and it's hard to get a measured move out of this because we blasted here, we kind of rested and blasted back up. And that's evident in the 1 hours more than anything. We blasted up, rested, blasted, rested, blasted, and now we're just kind of vibing, right? So what I'm looking for here, especially with this kind of spread, is for like, and it's really a squeeze at this point, and anything could happen. That 4 hours looking pretty juicy. The RSI and stochastic are getting hotter and closer together. Momentum still going up, VWAP still curling up, money is still in the green. So I would say that we flip and check this spider line that is so eagerly testing here. I mean, it looks like it's already on top on this side, right? But what problem we've got here is the minor amount of exhaustion and the weakness on spread. So that's kind of got me questioning things here. Of course, chopping down all the way to the 24-minute on the old Bitcoiner. To me, this looks actually like we're pressing, burning hot, like as per that green dot we saw on the previous little 4-hour there. So that little bit of 24-minute action with the last 4 candles there, that's why we can see that green dot appearing, but also the weakness showing. So we need this to really hold out and keep on printing, because our next stop, based off of this 4-hour flag alone, is the old 80K limit, and then right up to 82. I don't think there's going to be much of a wait if that happens. We have had such a wonderful move up that, again, a retrace is always possible. So, friends, where are we going with Bitcoin today? North, I'm going to say about 82K. All right, 82K. We've already more or less wicked off the psychological level, but the thing is, we still have not actually hit it. So we got to keep our eyes open for that. Let's take a little dive over into Ethereum before we get into some Cardano, Cronos, and so on. So you can see here that just on the 4-hour alone, we have hit level 3 of my 3 blue lines. Zooming all the way back out to the weekly, what does this look like? That's the God candle here on the weekly for Ethereum, for that matter, which happens to go exactly to my threshold line, okay? And also the nearest neckline before flipping to the extreme greed, right? And looking back over here, Darkcrash would show you that not only we have reproduced the divergence that ultimately led to this, but it's just like I said before, the overgrown momentum on the south got to yoink itself back up to the top, and it's done exactly that, albeit barely. You can see it pinching barely right there. So something this aggressive usually takes time to rest on its laurels for a bit, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing in the markets. And as soon as this corrects in the next few hours here, and we see the next weekly candle, I can make a better determination if we're going to land something like this over here before we have another bump up. It's a very real possibility, so I'm going to keep that in mind. So the daily is resting quite comfortably, burning hot, money flow green. Hello to the new viewer in the stream there. I see you. Thank you for joining. Um, yeah, kind of just bing bonging around in these levels. I got to flip this before we reach the full bull territory, as I'd like to refer to it as. And then at that point, we're pretty much off to the races. Where would I say Ethereum could go after the fact? Again, all this is not financial advice, friends. Please refer to my disclaimer in the description. And sorry, I just had to make that plug. So here, and again, this is all Market Cipher tools that I'm using. If I didn't already clarify, we've got Market Cipher A on the top. We've got the DBSI strength line underneath, and we have Market Cipher B oscillators. Okay. So after this Ethereum, we're going to run through a couple alts and call it a day. But we got some time here. If you want something specific, please post it in the chat, and I will take a look at it. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Next levels. Yes. Okay. So as soon as, because there's a very high volume area here that we're playing with, and resistance as per my band. So once we crack 25, 26K Ethereum, the next level I would be looking at is roughly 28, 2900. Flip that, and it's pretty much no man's land. We are out of this bucket that you can see, this grand old, like this big old bucket. This is the Ethereum bear market bucket. This is where all the deals are made. These were the best sales below the line here. And you know, you're still technically in sale territory, even now at 2400 in my mind. This is my uneducated, unbiased, well, this is my opinion. Not to be taken as financial advice or anything otherwise. So, we are in sale territory. Where could Ethereum go for the long run here in the terms of the next bull situation that we've got? I mean, it didn't really play out very well for us. It's almost like Ethereum's gone. How do I say this? It's almost like aside from the fact that it's spread between 2,000 and like 4,000 plus, we could consider this more or less a stable coin. Like it's dropped out, it's become stable. There's volatility, yeah, but look at it. Like it's just been kind of vibing both bull markets. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I got an after hours call coming in. I might need to cut this stream short. I really appreciate your time. Hang on for a minute, folks. Yes, I am also on call. I have a business phone. I need to take care of some serious things, so bear with me here. Someone requires a hot water tank, friends. I might have to pull the cord. If I do, I will come back. I will cover altcoins again later today. It's just the world has other plans for me right now, so I got to take care of something. Yeah, Ethereum, as far as it goes, we got to hit 28, 29K or 2900, and then we will be off to the races where we're playing around in the 3000s. I might be able to do a more in-depth look at Ethereum here. I just want to thank you all so much for coming by and visiting. It means the world to me. Um, yeah, bear with me, friends. I might have to do a little number crunching, but if this tank does not exist, then I guess we stick around and continue the stream. So bear with me. I'm going to look for this fella. But yeah, otherwise, guys, like the markets have been insane. The stock market maybe not as juicy, but it's just kind of wild, especially Zcash. Like we'll come back, we'll talk about Zcash absolutely. All right, while we wait for my friend there, we can stick around for a little bit, folks. I'm still going to be here, don't worry. Um, the one customer looks like they'll be about. Oh, we dropped off a viewer. That's okay. Thank you to whoever's sticking around um, and stopping by as well. We'll continue this stream irregardless. Whether I have one viewer, zero viewers, a million viewers, I'm still going to be here. Thank you. Anyways, we've done a little bit of TA on Ethereum here. Let's jump into, I said Zcash, why not? Absolutely rocketing, setting new highs here. Auto fix that. This week, what do you call this? Good old Zcash has hit a completely new all-time high. Unbelievable, honestly. In fact, today was like it hit a new high yesterday, hit a new high today, and it's about to do it again, I think. It's hard to say what's left for Zcash here because this has been absolutely incredible of a move. It's still flying high. The momentum's absolutely peaking. That's insane. Look at that trigger wave too. Okay. Yeah, Zcash, we're looking very, very hot in the markets there. Performance insane. Seasonals, it's blowing it out of the market. It's already exceeding both of the previous years in terms of returns. So that's incredible. On the hourly, it's kind of flagging out. Well, it flagged out and it played up a little more. But this is looking a lot more like exhaustion to me. So I don't think there's too much left in this move on Zcash. I think we're due for a retest. But again, anything's possible. So yeah, let's do a quick move on over to let's take a dab at Cronos. Why not? And then we'll come back up to what did I say? Cardano. That's right. So Cronos had a little bit of a run up out of its graveyard that it's been sitting in, which is awesome to say the least, because it's been looking deader than ever. And even with these spikes, like very much similar, we're bleeding out. Oh, hey folks, looks like my customer no longer requires the tank. They found one at their shop. I can stay online. All right, let's keep streaming. Okay, friends, let's keep the fun going. Let's keep the Darkcrash fun going. Where are we going with Cronos? She's looking pretty grim. We're not going to zoom in too high on the candles here because I want to see this spread. It's going to look like a mess, but the point is we got to see this price spread. And after the last bullish scenarios where it ran up as high as it did, it just flatlined. It flatlined, it flatlined, it flatlined. And even with this most recent move, which we thought was substantial, did not affect Crypto.com as much. It more or less brought it to some previous bottoms. By the way, I must add that with this half hour coming up here, Darren Does Things is starting his stream. So if you happen to be in my stream and wanted to go pay him a visit, by all means, we will be joining him shortly as well. When this stream ends, we join Darren. That's how she rolls. All right. So yeah, maybe one of these days we'll get another good old spike, but every time we get a spike in price, we get a sell-off with Crypto.com. It's just the way it goes. These silly exchange tokens, as much as we feel like they benefit us and have a purpose, it's just another in-house coin or in-house arcade token. I hate to say it for myself because Crypto.com is quite honestly, full disclosure, one of my favorite holdings. So yeah, you got to play the spikes accordingly, is what I'm trying to tell you here. And even this most recent one has me fearing that we're due for a penny crow. Like if we had a penny crow, I would flip. And it looks like it's been possible in the past before too, to have 2 cent crow and so on. So I would not be about it if it actually dipped again. But 3 or 4, it's already reached 4 cents in crow. Like maybe it could go all the way down to 3. We never know here. If it goes down that low, I'm scooping up a ton, a ton, a ton, a ton. Because on God, if we had another, look, obviously the COVID spike led to a massive price boost, and Crow hit over $1, and it pretty much almost did that again in the last bull, or in the 2021-22 kind of finish offer there in the Christmas rush, as they say. So yeah, like we had our bullish play out here. We had the 1-2, and then there's the 1-2. So it was obviously a lot less lackluster there because more money was flowing into the Bitcoin, into stocks and bonds, and unironically commodities, gold, and so on. It's just a tumultuous time. Our worlds are different, and as much as we would like this spike to be here or even greater, it's just not in the cards for this time. And so we saw that play out. We're bleeding out, and quite honestly, we're bleeding out a lot harder. So um, what I see for Cronos in the near future, it's hard to say. The blood is in the streets. It could turn around, but it's not looking pretty at all. Honestly, even on the daily, it's just straight blood since October of last year. Will this change? Yes. When? I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, ride the wave, my friends. This is more or less a second chance to exit out of the last pump if you had it. But I wouldn't be taking too much in. If I had the chance, I'd be waiting for back into the 5 cent range before I start to reaccumulate. That being said, let's jump up to Cardano. Cardano. Looks exactly like Cronos for some reason. They all look the same, as CryptoFace would say. But the nice thing about Cardano is it bucketed a lot more. Like you can see that it bucketed just like Bitcoin. So that's exciting. Obviously, its fundamentals are much more well aligned to allow it to perform as such. It's not an exchange token. It's not a meme coin. It actually has utility and purpose and functionality. So again, we are forming the bucket, my friends, both on Cardano, on Ethereum, and on the Bitcoin, and it's looking great. It's looking real great. Cardano's next move, or would I peg it at? If I were to say that this is a bucket and not a cup and handle type situation building, then well, we are definitely looking at a quarter of a dollar Cardano. Excuse me, I almost said Cronos. That would put us in a much better place if we could flip the quarter, because that's exactly where the median is for this value area, where it was also tested as resistance prior to the breakdown, of course. And naturally, it wicks out to test the value area high. That makes the most sense. So we wick up there, we flag out, and then if we were to take another more or less measured move, it would peg us at about 28, 29 cents. Kind of vibing off the top of that, and then it might actually cup in handy out of that if it did. That would be amazing, because then that would more or less set us up, technically speaking, to reverse out of this disgusting bear situation we see here. This is just, how do I say this? An ease off the gas for driving off the cliff. That's what it feels like. It's just like, we can breathe. It's that nice, cool breeze out of the summer heat. And then again, somebody turns the heat up and we get all burned and it goes back down. That's all it is right now. So play cautiously, play optimistically. Bitcoin is pumping. It's above 78K again. So anything's possible, friends. This is looking a lot like a bear market bucket of the past. So please take it cautiously. Consult a professional. And for the love of God, do the right thing for yourself, not what other people say for you. Okay? I'm Darkcrash. Don't forget to drink water. Stay hydrated. It's been nice streaming. We'll see you next time.